A Counter-Strike update with just 4 lines that is one of the most impactful updates in recent history. Here's what they did. Greetings, TheWarOwl greets you. The update came out like 2 weeks ago, but listen, nothing's said until TheWarOwl says it. First, we have the reduction of the Ops magazine capacity from 10 rounds to just 5, just like Valorant. A lot of people are mad about this one, but let me offer a different perspective. This is a smart way to nerf the op because it doesn't change the mechanics of the gun. What it does change is the mentality of the player. In actual competitive Counter-Strike, I don't remember the last time I had to reload my op. If you have to reload your op and you're not spamming through smokes or doing wallbang lineups, you're doing something very wrong, and honestly, you should probably die. Now there's something else to think about. There's an added anxiety about how many shots you have. It's something else to keep track of and something your opponent can keep track of too. Listening for how many op shots were fired is very important. If you know an opper has to reload, you can take position without as much risk and with less utility. A lot of defensive Counter-Strike is playing off op contact. If you lose that contact for a few seconds, it gives an opening. So many times in Counter-Strike when you're rifling, you run out of ammo, especially with the 20 rounds in the M4A1S, and you have to switch to your pistol. Now, it's going to happen a lot more with the op. The only negative I can see from this update is we're not going to have all those cool frag montages where an opper is holding off the entire team by themselves. I'm glad they didn't mess with how the op works. Counter-Strike is a delicate balance. If you nerfed the op to where it wasn't usable, the game ceases to be Counter-Strike. Opping is such a huge part of the DNA of the game. In my opinion, I think it would have been better to reduce the magazine capacity to 7 instead of 5, since 5 is so dramatic a change. And in cosmic irony, Kenny S returns to Pro Counter-Strike, and there's immediately another op nerf. Global Offensive is the most defender-sided it's been since the AUG was overpowered. Most of this is due to the M4A1S buff that happened a while ago, so they're trying to nerf the M4A1S again to try to balance it out. How'd they do this? They nerfed the damage fall-off over distance of the M4A1S, but does this address the reason people use the weapon? This is the same change that was done to the UMP back when people were using the UMP on buy rounds, and it was successful in nerfing the weapon. The MP9 and the MAC-10 are now the preferred cheap SMGs. To give you an idea of the damage difference, the M4A4 is a 5-hit kill to the chest, but the M4A1S is a 4-hit kill to the chest at close range, but once you get to medium range, it becomes a 5-hit kill to the chest. It used to be consistently a 4-hit kill no matter what, even if you hit the abs or the chest. The M4A1S still has a damage advantage, but now it's less consistent. So which weapon should you now equip, the M4A4 or the M4A1S? The M4A1S still has significant advantages. The suppressor makes it easier to spam smokes as well as get lurk kills, because it doesn't give away your position. There's no tracers, there's no radar. And the spray pattern is way easier to control. I think it's going to take a lot to get players to switch to the M4A4 just because the M4A1S is easier to use. There's a hurdle now in learning the M4A4. Ask yourself this question, quick, it's the end of the round. There's an M4A4 and an M4A1S on the ground in front of you. Which one do you pick up? You have 2 seconds to decide. Now, after this change, I pick up the M4A4. I think the extra 10 rounds in the mag and the faster fire rate make it the better weapon, especially if you're playing an anchor position. But I still have the M4A1S equipped. Why? The simple fact that it's $200 cheaper every time you buy. That's an extra flashbang, which is significant. It's tough to get an economy going on the CT side. The extra money is the biggest advantage. And let's be honest, the FAMAS is poopy. It's a poopy gun. I think the ideal balance that Valve is looking for is some players equipping the M4A4 and some players equipping the M4A1S. Maybe it'd be better for the game if they just got rid of the whole equipping one weapon or the other and just allowed you to decide which one you wanted to purchase. I could definitely see myself purchasing both throughout a match of Counter-Strike. I don't see the purpose of limiting that except to make the buy menu easier. The king is dead. I said this in my last video. I expect we'll be playing dust2 with AK-47s and M4s when my hair is completely gray, and thus, true to TheWarOwl timing and Valve's insistence to make everything that I say wrong, dust2 has been removed from the professional map pool and replaced with Anubis. Out of all the maps to remove from the pool, dust2 is certainly one of them. The meta has become stale, it's rarely played at all in the pro scene. I think it was the least picked map this year. I still think removing highly played maps like Inferno, which is kind of boring to watch, let's be honest, or Mirage, which is way overplayed, would have done more to shake up the scene and kind of get things rolling in a different direction. Ancient and Vertigo are the maps that I'd say have the biggest gameplay problems, even though I enjoy both of them. I think they're fun to play. A lot of the community would rather have the new map be Tuscan or a reworked Cache or Cobblestone. Anubis is truly a unique choice, but I'm glad they're shaking up the map pool. It's the best way to keep Counter-Strike fresh, and I hope they do this after every major. Forcing a map into the pro scene also forces everyone else to learn the map. It kind of trickles down, and we can't really know if it works until it's played at a high level and not just casual pub stomping. Even professional players hopping into Anubis and just playing it for fun without lineups and without strats or anything, you're not really gonna learn much about the map. Anubis definitely fits the visual theme of Counter-Strike. I would say it's the best looking map in the pool right now. Every map needs a special sauce, something that makes it unique enough to justify its existence. For Anubis, that is the canal that runs from B site to A site horizontally across the middle of the map. It's sort of like you have mid, and then you've got this second horizontal mid that kind of cuts it in the middle. The early and mid game is now fighting over positional control of middle and the canals. Middle has like a two-tiered control. Beyond that though, Anubis is a very simple map, and to be fair, dust2 is an extremely simple map, so replacing a simple map with a simple map is probably a good idea. I think that Anubis, as it is right now, is in a better state than Ancient was when it was added into the pro map pool. And yes, there's gonna be some goofy clipping going on. The map is gonna have some exploits and wonky strats early on. It's gonna be broken. Map making in Counter-Strike is an iterative process. This will change over time. Be patient, friends. What the map needs right now is the extensive playtesting by millions of people that has already begun. In other FPS games like Valorant, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, the game is kept fresh by introducing new characters. Essentially, you're introducing new mechanics to the game. That's fine, it works for those games. Keep that out of Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike has pretty damn solid mechanics. That's the reason why we play it. Adding new maps to the game is a great way to keep the game fresh while preserving the mechanics. And Valve has a distinct advantage there in that the community works on testing, modifying, and creating the maps ourselves. There's a bigger brain trust at work in making the game good. Anubis is the second professional map in Global Offensive to be created from the community from the ground up, the other one being Cache. And I, for one, think that's pretty dang cool. Thank you folks very much for watching. I'm TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer.